If you want to get leads from your website and social media accounts, I can show you how to do it with just about 30 minutes of work. By the way, I help real estate professionals do this every single week, even with no prior tech experience, and just look at some of their results. Let me jump in and show you how we made it so easy to get traffic and leads online without it taking barely any of your time. And by the way, this is kind of a long video, so if at any point it gets confusing, skip to the end and I might have a solution for you. And the first thing that you're going to need are these 4 software programs that I've linked inside the Google Doc that will be underneath this video. Now, in this Google Doc, I've also given a brief write-up about how to manage this process day by day. But if you want something more in depth, I do teach a class that goes much more into the technicality of it, setting it up, if you don't have a blog page on your site, and how you can manage and track this more efficiently. But for this video, let's dive right in and I can show you the basics of how you can deploy this strategy and start generating more site traffic and more leads with your website and social media accounts. So number 1, the first thing you're going to need is a software called realestatecontent.ai, or REC for short. REC is kind of the nucleus of this whole operation because it allows us to generate targeted content for our perfect customers with barely any work. And the way this works is with a small questionnaire where you'll answer a couple questions about yourself as a realtor, your market, and the way you like to do business. And this is going to train the AI model in the background to speak on your behalf and kind of learn how your tone of voice works. So the content that it generates is going to sound like it's coming from you. But more importantly, it's going to generate your client avatars. And through these client avatars, which is a good idea of what your ideal customer looks like, it's going to be able to tailor content to attract this exact kind of customer, which is exactly what we want to do because there's a higher conversion rate for this kind of client than there would be with general site traffic. So we're essentially doing strategies that have been proven for many years before. The second thing that we're going to need is a website called TagParrot. TagParrot is an awesome hack that we use in the tech world to kind of jump the queue in Google indexing. You hear a lot of people talk about SEO and how it's a long burn. Well, TagParrot is going to allow us to jump our sitemap ahead of the queue so that we can index multiple pages in 24 to 48 hours. Now, I'll give you a quick brief rundown on SEO and kind of the science behind it. And if you want more of a tutorial, feel free to join my class. It's totally free, and I walk people through this strategy every day. But there's 2 sides to an SEO strategy: clicks and pages. Google wants to see your website get clicks, and they want to see lots of pages because that means that's an indexable site and that it's an active site. So what we do, the reason why blogs are so important is because it's going to create an indexable page with each blog. And then we can seed that blog. We can put it into different Facebook groups, email lists, Twitter. We can put it everywhere and distribute it to our audience, which will generate clicks. Now we have both sides of the SEO equation, and the only thing is left is how can we get Google to look at us? And that's where TagParrot come in. TagParrot does have some tutorials on their website, but if you haven't had much of a tech background yet, I would encourage you to join my class and I can walk you through the technical side of how to get this set up because it is a bit overwhelming for a first timer. The next thing you'll need is a great free program called Meta Business Suite. Meta Business Suite not only allows us to track a lot of our progress on social media, but it also gives us a way where we can schedule our content. Now, with realestatecontent.ai, we're able to generate Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook posts that we can then put into Meta Business Suite and schedule ahead of time at optimum times to post. So by using Meta Business Suite, we no longer have to worry about posting at the right time and remembering to post before or after work. We can spend a couple hours generating content automatically and then putting it into our content scheduler, and we can essentially set it and forget it and come back to it later. It will post every day for you in the background by spending just one afternoon getting all of it scheduled ahead of time. The final piece of our puzzle is Google Analytics. Now, Google Analytics is a very complicated program, and it might have scared a lot of people away, but we're just going to track site traffic. Now, we track site traffic because that's really going to tell us how effective our strategy has been. How effective are we at generating targeted traffic that's more likely to convert into a lead for us and to a paying customer? And that's something that we can do using some very basic graphs. So now you know the tools. Let's break them down into a use case. Once you get set up with each of the tools and you have everything synced up to your website and you're confident that you can use each of them independently, your daily routine is going to go something like this. You're going to generate content using realestatecontent.ai. You're going to generate a blog, Instagram, and social media posts. And then you're going to schedule the social media posts using Meta Business Suite. And you're going to use your website provider to upload the blog onto your website. Now, the second part is really where you make the biggest difference, and that's sharing the content. I like to call it seeding. Seeding is when we take those new pieces of content that we've generated and we push them out into our audience. And that can be through Facebook posts, Facebook groups, email lists, mailers, however we can reach our audience. We've just created content that they would want to engage with. So we want to share that. That's how we become thought leaders. That's how we generate more leads. That's how we generate more clicks, which is super important for our SEO site traffic. And then finally, we're going to use TagParrot to index those new pages. So Google can read our website right away. It can read all those new keywords. And what that's going to do is it's going to push us higher into the Google algorithm so that people can start finding our websites and our listings more organically. If you do this every day and if you remain consistent with it, you will start to see passive leads come in fairly quickly. You're going to see immediate results with sharing content. Hundreds of people that are coming to your website per day that weren't coming before because now you're giving them something of value. And if you have it down to a science, which is genuinely pretty easy, this is something that you should be able to do with your cup of coffee in the morning. So that's it. It's 4 simple programs that when you break it down allows us to minimize the amount of time that we spend posting on social media, but maximizing the leads and the traffic that we can get by automating it. Now, if this seems confusing, I teach a class every single week to people from no tech experience to graduate degrees in computer engineering. So feel free to hop on for my free webinar and I will happily walk you through it. Now, you can find the link for that webinar right underneath this video in the Google Doc, along with the links to each of those 4 software programs and a small write-up on how to use them. So go check it out. And if at any point you have a question, shoot me an email and I'd be happy to help you.